Welcome back to your Azure Administrator series. In today's episode, we are going to learn about serverless computing, a cloud model that allows developers to focus solely or mainly on their code or script, while the cloud provider handles the backend infrastructure management. So let's explore how serverless actually works, some of its key benefits, and popular use cases. Well, before we dive in, let's define serverless computing. It's actually in the name, serverless. Well, more technically, serverless computing is a cloud model where cloud provider manages the servers, scaling, and the maintenance of those units. On the other hand, developers can focus on writing codes without worrying about the server management or capacity planning. Now, how it actually works? Well, the cloud provider like Amazon or Azure automatically allocate resources as needed and scale them based on the demand. Billing is based on the actual usage of the resources rather than paying for a provisioned servers. For example, common serverless platform includes AWS, Lambda, Azure Functions, and also Google Cloud Functions. Now, let's look at the benefits of serverless computing. Well, the first one is cost efficiency. With serverless computing, you only pay for the resources you use, eliminating the cost associated with the ideal server. Or idle server simply means the server which are not being used or not being productive or not running your code. In simple words, when your code or your script is actually running, you pay for that. And when the server is idle, you don't pay for that. The next one is scalability. Well, serverless platform automatically scale up and down based on the demand, ensuring optimal performance during the traffic spikes. That is why a lot of companies love to use serverless. Less hassle, more productivity. Now that less hassle also trickle down to faster development. Well, here developers can focus on writing and deploying proper code without managing the infra. This actually accelerates their development and deployment process. It makes it faster. The next one is reduced operational overhead. Well, here, no need to worry about server provisioning, maintenance, or updates, or even patch management. Big chunk of this management section is gone. This responsibility is taken by the provider. So now that overhead is gone to the provider, you can focus on the real stuff. That is, focusing on the logics, creating awesome applications, or writing proper codes. This also in turn improves reliability. Well, serverless platforms are designed to be highly available and fault tolerant by design, ensuring reliable performance. Because Azure, AWS, or even Google, they will make sure that a lot of people will use this serverless options. So they spend millions to make sure that these features are never down, so they are reliable. Next, let's explore some common use cases of serverless computing. The most awesome one, or the most important one, is microservices. Well, here, you break large application into smaller independent functions that can be deployed and scaled individually. Think about containers. And for orchestration, think about Kubernetes. Next is event-driven architecture. Well, here, triggers or, events actually trigger functions based on some specific problem, such as file upload. So file upload is also a kind of an event, not a problem, but maybe a predictable event, which happens every week. Or some HTTP request from your website, or even a database update can be regarded as an event. So this can be used for event-driven architecture. The next is real-time data processing. Well, processing data streams in real time, such as logs or sensor data coming from multiple data points, whether from on-prem or Azure, or even the social media feed can also drive this whole methodology. And serverless computing is awesome for that. So this is also a particular use case. Now, is there any new use case? Yes, APIs and webhooks. Well, building lightweight RESTful APIs and webhooks to connect application and services together can also take advantage of serverless infrastructure, where your organization can only focus on, or not only, they should only focus on how to integrate multiple services together. And at the back end, the infra is still performing as it is. And how about automating your tasks? Well, you can automate your background jobs, such as some routine, mundane scheduling tasks or maintaining processes, such as data backups, email notification, and such tasks, which are small and repetitive. You can use serverless functionalities or feature set to do that. So, in summary, serverless computing offers a very cost-effective, scalable, and reliable way to build and deploy applications. By eliminating the need for server management, developers can now focus on innovation and they can accelerate their DevOps pipeline. Whether you are building a microservice, processing real-time data, or you're just automating some repetitive tasks, serverless platform like Azure Functions can make your job easy. And you can also scale up on demand. So I hope you understood what serverless is all about. Now, thank you for tuning in to my episode. I will see you in the next episode where we will explore more Azure concepts. Thank you and take care.